So Vedic astrology has 12 zodiac signs, the same as the Western system, right? So Western astrology, as I believe it, is a derivative of the Vedic tradition. And the Vedic seers, the rishis of ancient times, observed how, as the Earth is rotating, the band of stars that surround our Earth and the band of stars that the sun travels through. And they saw 12 different star constellations that they then gave Sanskrit names to. For instance, Aries was Mesha, and Taurus was Vrishabha. And they were basically names of animals, names of creatures that they felt was the energy being communicated by those star constellations. So just like in Western astrology, we have 12 signs, starting with Aries, moving to Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, then Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Now, yes, as I mentioned in the first video, there's a concept of rising signs. So what star constellation was on the eastern horizon when you were born that influences the energy of your personality. There is a star constellation the sun was in when you were born, which is about a month period. And so a lot of times in Western astrology, people are talking about their sun signs. When somebody says, oh, I'm a Virgo, they're saying that the sun was in Virgo during that month, right? Obviously, the calculation is different, as I explained in a previous video. Now, the thing is, each of these zodiac signs, you cannot just think of a sign in and of itself. So first of all, in Sanskrit, the word sign, the word is Rashi, R-A-S-H-I. And Rashi translates to Rashi. Rashi is the way it's pronounced. Rashi is a heap of energy. So we're not saying it's a sign as in a symbolic thing. We're saying it's a real heap of energy that influences you. So each of these 12 Rashis have an energetic influence. But the energetic influence comes from the planet that is behind the sign. So, if you get deeper into astrology, you should always think, when I think of a sign, what is the planet that is expressing its energy through the sign? So when somebody says Aries, I immediately think, wait a minute, Aries is ruled by Mars. So Aries is an energy of the planet Mars. Aries is a star constellation, a Rashi, a heap of energy, but its influence is through Mars. If you know that Mars is fiery and aggressive, then you know Aries will be fiery and aggressive. Now, Mars also rules over, so in Vedic astrology we say the ruler of the sign, the lord of the sign. Mars rules over Aries. Mars also rules over Scorpio, but in a different way. So Mars, the warrior, shows up very fiery and headstrong in Aries, being a ram. But in Scorpio, being a water sign, shows up in a more mysterious, intense way and more of a hidden way. As you know, a scorpion sort of hides behind, underneath a rock and attacks you when you least expect it. So Mars is this strong, courageous warrior energy. Aries expression of it is much more upfront, and Scorpio expression is much more mysterious and hidden in nature. So you could say you've got the soldier on a horse riding into battle versus the spy who's doing espionage and intrigue in the background, or an ambush surprise attack would be more of a Scorpio. So we can go through each sign one by one and understand who rules it. So Aries is ruled by Mars. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Leo ruled by the sun. Virgo ruled by Mercury. Libra ruled by Venus again. Scorpio, Mars. Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter. Capricorn ruled by Saturn. Aquarius also ruled by Saturn. And Pisces ruled by Jupiter. So this is how you start to understand the signs, is understanding the planet behind it. So we want to understand Aries, we know Mars. Mars is aggressive, headstrong, fiery, courageous. Aries, headstrong, fiery, courageous, right? Taurus is a bull, but it's ruled by Venus. Bulls are connected to prosperity, plowing the earth to grow crops. The bull then pulls the cart to the market to sell the produce. So you could say Taurus has a very prosperity, fertility, ability to accumulate wealth. A bull is kind of an accumulating kind of energy. Taurus is actually known as a fixed sign, so it accumulates. So Venus is connected to wealth. Taurus is accumulated wealth. Taurus people are also stubborn, bullheaded, so to speak. Then we get to Gemini, which is kind of a sign of twins, right? In Vedic astrology, it's a man and a woman, sort of two different energies. And Mercury is this fast-moving energy. So you can see Gemini is very fast-thinking, lots of ideas, lots of thinking, lots of interest in lots of different things, interest in information, almost like too much information processing with Gemini. Then we move to Cancer, which is the sign of a crab, but a water sign and full of emotions. And now when we think of the moon is a planet of mind and emotions. So Cancer becomes a sign. There's all about emotions, emotional connection, at home, nurturing, heart, mother. So Cancer people will care about those things a lot. Then we move to Leo. Leo is a lion, right? The lion is the king of the jungle. Leo is ruled by the sun, the king of the planets. So Leo has a very strong regal energy, very much the boss, wants to be in charge, wants to be seen, wants to shine, right? Then we move to Virgo, which is also ruled by Mercury, but it's a much more exacting kind of sign. It's the Virgin Maiden is the symbol of Virgo. And so you have this energy of purity and getting, keeping things clean and, attention to detail. So Virgo is very much attention to detail, and it's all about the right information, the right data, the right numbers. So you kind of see Mercury's energy show up through Virgo in that way. Then we move into Libra, and Libra again is a Venus sign, but its symbol is a scale. So Libra is all about balance and harmony, and Venus of course wants beauty, harmony, balance. So Libra people care a lot about balancing things, but the scales are also connected to commerce, right? So in ancient days, things are traded on scales, and so Venus is money and material things. Libra is business and commerce. Libra people tend to be very good at business. They think about money. They think about balancing of relationships. They're very good at business because they understand everything's a give and take. Then we move to Scorpio, that kind of intense, mysterious, under the rock, hidden attack with Mars energy. Then we move to Sagittarius, which is sort of a more, is a fire sign. So it's kind of the fiery side of Jupiter. So Jupiter is the wisdom planet, the guru, the teacher. And in Sagittarius, it shows up as a bit of righteousness and moralistic high ground and sort of strength. Sagittarius is also symbolized by a centaur. It's kind of a half man, half horse creature that's galloping along with a bow and arrow in hand. So Sagittarius people may have very strong goals and goal setting and maybe good athletes and can hit a target even while they're moving. Then Capricorn becomes an earth sign, very practical and ruled by Saturn. So it's all about hard work and practicality and cold logic. Saturn's not a very warm planet. It's very far away in space. So it's the coldest planet used in the Vedic system. So Capricorn people can be a bit cold and a bit emotionally detached and all about the numbers and the logic and practicality. Capricorn's symbol in Vedic astrology is a crocodile. So it's kind of like a half crocodile, half man. So it's a crocodile, think about it, sitting and lurking in the water and waiting patiently to, long-term strategy, waiting patiently to pounce. Then we move to Aquarius, which is actually an air sign, even though its symbol is a empty pot of water. So this is kind of combination of air and water, but it's ruled by Saturn again. So Aquarius people are all about the servant, the people, the serving followers, being the servant, being the follower in some ways. Saturn is the working class planet. Aquarius people care about the working class. They care about uplifting humanity. They can be very idea oriented, being an air sign. They think about ideas, they're innovative, they think in different realms in different ways. And then we move to Pisces, which is again Jupiter, but a water sign. So this is where spirituality flows everywhere. So the Sagittarius side of Jupiter might be more of the religious leader, whereas the Pisces is more of the spiritual leader. Pisces has no boundaries, so this is where Jupiter gets very expansive and all about feeling and connecting to spiritual things of the universe, things beyond logic. Sagittarius side has more logic than the Pisces side. So that's an overview of all 12 signs. Always remember, if you hear a sign, make sure you're thinking about the planet and how it's expressing through the sign. And as I go into detailed videos on each sign, you'll see I'll take the nature of the sign. Is it water? Is it earth? Is it air? What is the element? The symbol of the sign, the planet that rules it. And when you take those three factors and put them together, you really start to understand how that sign functions. Now remember, all of you are probably thinking, well, what sign am I? We are all signs. Remember, all 12 signs show up somewhere in the sky when you were born, and that sign influences the energy of that particular area of your birth chart. Yes, your rising sign is very important for your personality and character and disposition. Your moon sign might be the way you think. The sun sign might be your deeper soul and willpower, but every sign shows up somewhere. So the sign that rules your house of career will influence how you think about career. If Aries is the sign in your house of career, you'll have a very headstrong approach to your career. If Cancer is in your house of career, then you'll have a very soft emotional approach to your career. So think about how each sign shows up in a different part of your life.